Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So, you may have noticed that there is a lack of content, or at least there has been over the past couple weeks, and I do apologize for that. I wanted to give you guys a kind of rare life update for me, and kind of let you know what to expect over the next couple of weeks. You know, I think we all go through tough spots in life, and some seasons are really great, and we feel like we're firing on all cylinders, and life is fantastic, which is kind of how the past few years have felt for me for the most part. Obviously, there's been some ups and downs. Life kind of throws random curveballs at you. But mostly, life has been pretty good. I had been working a lot, and, I'm living in this great new place, and everything has kind of really been fantastic up until fairly recently, because sometimes we also get hit with a storm of things that just kind of seem to be a string of bad luck, with one terrible thing happening after another terrible thing, and it feels like you just can't really get ahead. And yeah, that's kind of what has been happening lately, and it's greatly contributed to, the speed at which I can edit things, and how much I guess just like mental space I have for editing and whatnot. And I don't want this to turn into a huge venting video or anything. Actually, I mean, I'd love to do that, but I don't think you guys want like a whole big venting video, and I don't think it would make me look very good if I just sat here and vented for an hour about every little thing. But I do want to share some of my life with those of you who have followed us and supported us over the past few years. And I kind of want to clue you in as to, why content has been slow lately. So what it comes down to is that lately, just completely honestly, I've had the worst couple months of my life. I've had the worst couple months that I've had in a very, very long time. And about 2 months ago, I found out that my dog, Hank, who you've seen in many videos and podcasts and stuff, I found out that he has cancer, and he actually has an appointment on the 17th of April to try and get it removed, and hopefully it doesn't come back. It's going to come with a long recovery period that is not going to be easy for him. So a lot of, for the next few weeks after the 17th, I'm also going to be, making sure that he's okay, making sure that he's getting his like pain medication and stuff. Cause it's going to be a really tough recovery for him. Honestly. So the procedure is really expensive, and it took a very generous contribution from my friends and family and loved ones to even get close to being able to pay for it. If I hadn't had their generosity, there's no way I could have done it, and I honestly don't really know what would have happened. But luckily, we don't have to worry about that. Luckily, the procedure is paid for, and it's taken care of. So shortly after this, I find out that my roommate is leaving ahead of his lease, leaving me with the whole house that I have to pay on my own. This was a while ago, and I'm still looking for a roommate and still paying for this entire house by myself, which is really not easy. It was almost doable for a while with, what I make from work. I'm not to sound like narcissistic or anything, but I'm a very skilled carpenter. And so I was making do for a while. But then at the beginning of March, I got laid off. The company I was working for laid off a bunch of their employees because they were kind of just running out of work, which is crazy because they were kind of a big company. And I was one of, the carpenters that got laid off. And so for the next few weeks, I looked for work everywhere. And I really couldn't find anything for a while. And I am not the kind of person that just like sits around and is okay with not working. I was really looking everywhere and there just really wasn't anything. So during that time, I lost out on a ton of money that I would have been using to pay for the place I'm living in and stuff like that. I found some work now, and I'm kind of in the process of playing catch up. For any of you that have lost a job and started a new one, there's a period of time before you really start getting paychecks regularly, and it can be tough. So yeah, I'm working now. I've been doing a lot of like side work, and I've also found something that I can do during the week and stuff, but it's just a lot of playing catch up. Not only that, I'm working late into the night, and when I get home I pretty much pass out right away and then get up the next morning and do it all over again. At least until I can get, financially secure again. So then if this even needed a cherry on top, in the midst of all this, people say when it rains, it pours. And I always kind of roll my eyes at these generalizations or these like phrases that kind of get tossed around. But something like this, you really feel the truth in it. In the midst of all of this happening, my truck broke down, and I found out that it was going to be like $3,500 to fix like the bare minimum things. And so I've had to find like alternate ways of getting around because I just had no money to either fix my truck or buy a new one. Hopefully that's changing now. I'm hoping that I'll be able to, finance a new truck or something. But for a while it was kind of like I legitimately don't know how I'm going to get around. So as you can see, it has just been one thing after another in what is really just the perfect storm. Like every single thing that contributes to like the bare necessities of your life just kind of falling apart. And it's taken a huge toll on me, both financially and with time and mentally, like for sure mentally. So it's been tough for sure. And now that I'm working again, I'm hoping that this all gets better soon. But like I said, I have a lot of catching up to do. And like I also said, I have just been working super late every single night and, basically eat and go right to bed. And I know that I don't really need to explain this to YouTube because I'm sure you guys get it. But I don't know. I just wanted to put this out there so that you guys could see, why there hasn't been a ton of content lately. However, we are still recording content on Sundays. So we're still doing the podcast. The hard part is editing, because I just don't have time. Usually I would do like a little bit of editing every night throughout the week, and then try to post the episode on like Wednesday or Thursday or sometimes Fridays. But lately I haven't even really been able to edit on the weekend because I've also been, trying to work as many weekends as I can. But yeah, I think this will start lightening up soon and we can get back to our normal editing schedule, hopefully within the next couple weeks. And, I'll kind of be back to it once I get into a normal routine again. But yeah, lately it's just been really, really tough. And like I said, I know you guys understand this and are super cool about it, which I really appreciate. I actually posted a thing on Twitter recently about all of this, and the show of support from everyone was just amazing, and it made me really happy to kind of see the community come around us and me and just show that kind of support. It was really refreshing and made my day that day, because I didn't even really want to post it. I was just like, maybe I was kind of venting, but like I was like, I just gotta post this thing so that people kind of know like where we've been. And it was just incredible to see everybody just be so supportive. And I hope we get back to normal really soon here, and I think we will. It's just been my mic is falling. Yeah, it's just been like a really tough, especially the past month has just been really difficult as far as like having time to edit. Now, I'm not here to e-beg or shill or anything like that. This is simply an update for everyone who is wondering what's going on. But I did get a lot of people on Twitter asking like how they can help. And if you still want to see our content that we're recording on Sundays and want to support us in the process, then what would actually be really helpful is joining our Patreon. You get to watch all of our content live as we record it, and you get to participate in the chat and talk with us while we're talking about books or whatever, and we will actually respond to you mid-episode. Like, we go through the chat as it comes up. And not only that, if you don't get to catch it, if you don't, see it live or whatever while we're actually recording it, you'll still get access to those episodes, and you'll see that content way before anyone on YouTube ever sees it. And you get to see like all of the weird like behind the scenes discussions that we have. A lot of times it's really inappropriate, or just like random like banter, or like random conversations about life or a movie we just saw or a TV show we're watching or whatever. So you get to see a lot of extra stuff as well. As far as the money from Patreon, that does not go directly into our pockets. It goes back into the podcast, and it helps pay for things like the services that we use to actually make the podcast. For example, StreamYard is about $80 a month, and Adobe Premiere is like $35 a month. Plus there's like a few other services that we use to be able to put like copyright-free music and sound effects in our videos, and other like just random little things like transitions that we use in Adobe, like the things that kind of combine two clips, and like all that kind of stuff. It all costs a monthly fee. And so the Patreon really helps pay for all of that. And that, like, supporting us on Patreon actually takes a huge burden off of my shoulders, because I'm paying out of pocket for all of those things. Like, the podcast isn't to the point where it's like paying for itself, I guess. So if you'd like to support us there, honestly, it would make it one less thing that I have to worry about in my day-to-day life. But yeah, and recently also I've been putting all of our live recordings on Patreon for the lowest tier. It used to be the second tier is where you would get access to the, like, being able to watch it live. But I've made it so that anybody who joins during this time gets our content at whatever tier they choose to join at, because I want to make it as accessible for possible, during this time where I'm just like not able to edit very much. So yeah, I don't want anyone to feel like they have to, but if you're wondering how you can support us, like that's a really, really good way to do it. And that really helps us. But I really just appreciate everyone who watches our videos or supports us on Patreon, or even if you just comment on our Twitter posts, like I said earlier, like that is like really, really awesome. And we love all of you guys so much. We love talking about books, and we just really appreciate your patience and how supportive you've all been. And yeah, that's kind of where I'll leave all of that. That's kind of the gist of it, and that's what's been going on. There is one thing I want to talk about real quick, just because I'm dying to say something about it. I'll just give you a little reading update on what we've been reading lately. All of us on the podcast have been extremely hooked on Dungeon Crawler Carl. We were supposed to read the first 2 books for this Sunday's episode, and I think all of us are on book 4 now because we just can't stop reading it. It is so addicting, and if you have thought about starting it and have been on the fence, I could not recommend it enough. You absolutely need to do the audiobook version because it is incredible. It's so good the way they do the audiobook. It's like Nick Podell on steroids. But yeah, I did not think that I was gonna like it. Matter of fact, when I started Dungeon Crawler Carl, I hate lit RPG. Like, I really, really, really do not like that genre. And I didn't know how I was going to feel about Dungeon Crawler Carl because it is kind of lit RPG. Like, there's definitely some lit RPG influences there, but it's way different than any of the other ones that I have read and didn't like. And I'm so shocked that I'm so hooked on it. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I've wanted to get a Dungeon Crawler Carl tattoo the past couple days because I am just loving it so much. And that I do not say that lightly. I really, really love these books, and I think they're done really well. But we'll be talking about that this Sunday if you want to come by on our Patreon and see us talk about it live. And then I'll also be recording a separate video where I do something like this, where I just sit and talk about it in front of the camera, because I think there's a lot to explore there, especially with me not previously enjoying lit RPG. I think there's a lot to examine and kind of talk about. So hopefully that video will be recorded and edited pretty soon here. I would think that would probably be one of the next things that I really take on when I get back to editing. So yeah, anyways, this video is getting to be too long, but I just wanted to give you guys an update. And, with that, thank you again for all of your support. Even if it's just watching this video, even if you're just here clicking on this video and, checking in on the update or whatever, that is more than enough. And we, appreciate all of you guys, and we love you guys. And thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you again either on Patreon or when I can get back to editing on a regular schedule, probably in the next couple weeks. So anyways, see you guys. Bye.